Hello, everyone. Happy Sunday. This is Simon with AvaTrade, and welcome to our webinar, Mapping Out the Week Ahead. What we're trying to do here is create a plan, as I like to quote the traders when they say, you plan your trade and then you trade your plan. Of course, there's no guarantees in succeeding, but definitely there's much more probability of doing much better when you plan your future actions, especially in trading. So it removes reactivity and chaos from your trading. Few things about myself. My name is Simon Friedman. I'm a senior account manager with AvaTrade. I've been trading and involved in trading for the past 24 years. I started as a prop trader in New York City in June of 2000, and after doing it for about 11 years, I moved on to trade in different ways and started to mentor and educate others. And I'm very happy that today I have a great opportunity to assist our traders at AvaTrade. So the agenda of the webinar is very simple, pretty much the same thing we do every week. We'll talk about indices, stocks, commodities, forex. We discuss some fundamentals. We'll take a look at technicals and the charts. We bring up economic calendar and trying to make sense and make a plan for the upcoming week. Risk warning, you can find a full statement at avatrade.com. Of course, everything we do here, it's purely educational. We do not suggest any trades. Social media channels, you have Telegram, X, which used to be Twitter, and YouTube channel, which I like to say it's my favorite. You can find a lot of information here. You can subscribe. If you're watching it on YouTube, please click likes if you do like it. Share with people you care about, and also write some comments and feedback. That would be really great. We're trying to improve things all the time. Also, subscribe and click on that bell so you'll be notified when new things are coming up to YouTube. Now, it's been quite a week, as you know. Some of us still recovering from it. Some just enjoying the weekend. It's been a crazy week in trading. Volatility was super high. I just brought up a few slides here. So this one shows the VIX index. Here we go. We hit above 65. Last time we were in those levels. That was the reaction on the sell-off of the market due to the pandemic, the COVID of 2020. So it was a strong move to the upside. The volatility skyrocketed, and then it just came right back towards the end of the week. So we are where we started, around 20. Another thing, as you know, I like to post some slides here. This is from the article. You can find it on the marketwatch.com. This is from Barron's. And the title says here, the stock market's wild week was a wake-up call, what to do now. An interesting article. They give you statistics and numbers and everything else. So it says right here, long-term investors shouldn't be spooked by one-day rout or the market's churning. S&P 500 and NASDAQ are still up more than 11% on the year. And also I brought up from the same articles, this is based on Bloomberg. You could see here the numbers as of today. So we have Dow Jones went down 2.6% August 5th, and they ended up almost flat, minus 0.7%. Nice recovery. And year to date, we're still up 4.7%. S&P 500 was down 3%, and then we recovered almost all of it, down, ended up weak, down 0.5%. Here we go, 11.5% on the year. NASDAQ as well, it was a strong sell-off, minus 3.4%, ended up weak with only 0.7% loss, and it's still 11% up on the year. So as you could see, S&Ps and NASDAQ about the same gain year to date. Russell 2000, the small caps, were down 3.3, ended up down 1.2. They recovered the least out of all the indices, and it's only up on the year 2.8%. Nikkei had a huge drop, as you know. It was caused partially or mainly, you could say, by the move of the yen to the upside. So Nikkei was down to 12.4% and ended up the week only at 3% down and still up on the year 4.1%. Gold, the champion, is the biggest gain for the year besides the Bitcoin here, right? 17.7% on the year still. We had a drop of 1.3, ended up almost flat, minus 0.1%. And the Bitcoin was a strong drop there, minus 8%, recovered almost half of it, finishing the week minus 4.8% and still up on the year 40.1%. So these are the statistics. If you can, check that article. Again, this is the title, Stock Market's Wild Week was Wake Up Call at marketwatch.com. Okay. That's what I wanted to show you as the numbers of the indices, what they did. Now, this is also important, this CME here. This is the probability of the interest rate change. The next meeting we have on the 18th, on the announcement is 18th of September. As you could see now, interesting, it's almost 50-50 chance between the 25 basis point cut and 50 basis point cut. So you could see the current rate is between 525, 550. So there's a 51.5% as of now that they will cut the rates by 0.25%. And there's also 48.5% that they will cut it by 50 basis point or 0.5%. And of course, that probability increase, and this showed up after the data we had previously showing that the economy is slowing and unemployment jumped and less jobs were added when we had NFPs the beginning of the month. So why am I showing these? These numbers are always sensitive to what the Feds are going to be doing, and of course that's being kind of influenced by the numbers. And I just want to show you what's waiting for us this week. We're moving to economic calendar. I'm going to jump up a little bit. So we have very important data this week. We have a CPI number, that's the inflation number that the Feds are watching, and that's coming out on Wednesday. Also, we have PPI numbers and retail sales. So, and we have a Michigan Consumer Sentiment Index. That's what's happening, and definitely will be affecting the upcoming decision of the Feds in September on the interest rate cut. Okay, so this is economic calendar special. I want to explain it to the new people. It's public information. You can find it on our web trader or the app, the mobile app. Also, a lot of providers are having these numbers revealed. So it's like I said, it's public information. You can find it anywhere you'd like. It is important to know that certain things are happening, especially if you're trading actively. You don't want to be caught up in something unexpected and spikes on the market. So prepare yourself. Again, you cannot predict things. As I like to say, even if you knew ahead of time what the numbers are going to be, it's very hard to predict how the market will be reacting. So, but knowing this events and numbers and announcements are happening, it's very, very important you're trading. So what I do here, I take out the high impact events, and there's so much more. You can browse and filter through it, see what's relevant for your trading. So let's just go through it. Tuesday, we have employment data from UK. As we said, PPI numbers from US coming on Tuesday. Wednesday, we have interest rate decision from New Zealand. Based on this, the consensus or expectations, no change. We might see different decisions, of course. So that's followed by the statement and the press conference. As we know, New Zealand dollar has been weak in the past weeks. So let's see what happens there. We have CPI numbers from UK as well. And that's on Wednesday. We have GDP numbers from European Union and the CPI numbers. I think this is the most important data of the week from US, and that's on Wednesday. GDP numbers from Japan. And moving to Thursday, we have employment data from Australia. industrial production and retail sales from China. As we said, we'll be showing China today as well. China has been struggling. The index is moving lower. There are a lot of worries there as far as the economy. Next thing is GDP numbers from UK and retail sales from US. And Friday, we have retail sales from UK and Michigan Consumer Sentiment Index. So these are the events of the upcoming week. Again, this is just high impact. There's so much more. You can filter and choose what's relevant for your trading. Okay, let's move now to the trading platform. So as we said, the VIX moved tremendously. By the way, there's something interesting that you can pay attention to. There's ETF that, let me see 1 second. Here we go. UVXY. This is the ETF that's connecting to VIX. Take a look at this move. On the 2nd of August, we were around 30, 32. We went as high as 65.74, and then we came right back to 30, 31. You can see the volatility, it's crazy. Another one you might want to pay attention to is SQQQ. That's the ultra short NASDAQ ETF. So when the NASDAQ is selling, this instrument is moving higher and vice versa. As you could see, it's been selling with the NASDAQ moving higher. And then this past 2 weeks with the high volatility, it moved from around $8 all the way to 11.5 and back to 960. So just I wanted to mention those two instruments. You can watch them and see if it works for you. So S&Ps, as we said, NASDAQ and Dow Jones, they had a nice recovery. But before that, let's take a quick look at China. As we said, China has been struggling. Here we go. We've been selling this since the last attempt to move higher when the government started to take some actions and inject the funds into the markets. Didn't work for a long time. So here we go. Since July 22nd, we've been selling, and we did break through that 11,800 support. Moved lower, came to retest it, established the resistance, and then sold again. So down pressure on China remains. Japanese index had a huge sell-off. As we said, Monday alone, it was a drop of about 12%, and then we recovered a little bit, and it was mainly caused by the yen moving higher. As it was expected. We've been talking about the yen for a long time. We'll mention it when we get to Forex section. So as you could see, that Chinese index is weak. Japanese index tried to recover after the recent losses. And let's take a quick look at US indices. As we mentioned, they had a nice recovery towards the end of the week. Thursday, we had a nice move that erased the previous sell-off from the beginning of the week, and a little bit in green for Friday. That's for S&Ps. NASDAQ, similar situation. Thursday was a nice move to the upside, and Friday was pretty much flat here. And Dow Jones, similar situation. So the question is what this week's going to bring, and that's the big question with all the data, as we mentioned, in economic calendar. Let's see what the general public is doing, what the retail traders are doing, what the big institutions are doing. Also in August, we're almost in the middle of August, which is normally a quiet day. But this August, it looks like it's very special with the volatility just going through the roof. Germany, a similar situation, a nice move to the upside towards the end of the week. Same thing in France. And UK had a nice move here, and it looks like we're back into this channel, as we mentioned a while ago. between 81.80 and 83.50. We've been channeling for a while. Then we sold with the global markets selling off, and then we came back closing Friday very nicely. Actually, we are up on the week. It looks like it. Yep, the green week, and it's holding very nicely. The UK index, maybe the weakness in the pound is helping that as well. We'll take a look at pound when we get there. So, as you could see, the indices had a sell-off the week before, and then started with a huge sell-off on Monday, and then they worked really, really hard the rest of the week to come back. So almost covered the losses of Monday. So let's see how this week will play. Let's move to individual stocks, and we'll show a few of them. Let's start with NVIDIA. As you know, it's been a leader, especially NASDAQ. It's been selling heavily. Monday, here we go. On the 5th, we went as low as 90.61. It was actually lower at the extended hours. And then we recovered nicely. And we're back to trading above 100. We closed at 104.63. Very important. Most of the S&P 500 stocks already reported. And NVIDIA is reporting on 28th of August. So we have about 2 weeks till NVIDIA reports. There's a lot of opinions of investors. Some are still excited about AI. Some are saying it was overpromised, and they get a little bit skeptical. And I guess we'll find out this round of earnings how NVIDIA actually looks as far as the earnings. So that's NVIDIA. Tesla, we had, we switched to MT4 again. Tesla is really struggling to come back to that 200 mark. We are holding around 200. It's a key level, has been there for a while, that psychological 200 that was holding a support. And then it was a lot of resistance on many occasions. So we're back to fighting that level again with the $200 mark. Uber had nice earnings, as we mentioned last week. The stock's been selling lately, and on earnings had a nice move to the upside. We're trading at closed Friday at $68.54 after being almost at $54, $54.68 on the 5th before the earnings. Nice move. Let's see if Uber manages to continue higher here. As you can see in the weekly chart, it looks very, very nice. Now, I wanted to bring Intel to your attention, something that I've read. Here we go. So this is from one of the articles, and I'm just going to quote this part of the article. Here we go. Intel stock has gotten so cheap that it now trades around tangible book value. The shares, which are off 4.7% Friday to 1953, change hands at right about the tangible book value, which Barron's calculate at around 1950 per share. And I continue with the quote. It's rare to find a major company, technology or otherwise, trading around the tangible book value because the measure approximates liquidation value, and most big companies are worth considerably more than the operation ready to turn off the lights. Shares of peers Advanced Micro Device and NVIDIA trade for more than 15 times and 50 times tangible book value, respectively. Both AMD and NVIDIA are much more profitable than Intel, however. So what does it mean, tangible value? It means that physically it's worth about the same what the stock price is. And they give you the numbers here that Advanced Micro is trading about 15 times its value, and NVIDIA is trading 50 times its value. So a lot of investors are are thinking that maybe it's a bottom here as we reach that level. That what they're saying here, if Intel closed the shop today and just sold off its assets, it would get this price, whatever the stock is worth today. So let's see if this will help boost the stock in the upcoming weeks and days. Also, they looking to become profitable. As you know, they spend a lot of money on building new plants, and they're waiting to take the profit on those investments starting as of next year, then 26, then 27. So the expectation look pretty good. The question is, will they reach them? Also, they stop with the dividends and they cancel a lot of things and they lay off a lot of employees to save the money in a simple language. So let's see, definitely that's something to think about, and it might attract investors at this point. As you could see, the stock's been struggling a lot. And here we go on the monthly chart. We're back at the 2012 level. Wow. This is November of 2012. The low here is 1920. And we closed about 40 cents above. And the low here was 1881. We're actually lower this past week. It looks like it, right? Yeah, 1881. Okay, so we're going to watch Intel. It's a strong company, very important company to the US. And it looks like it might start recovering here again. It could be the opposite scenario. They could just kill the stock. But as they mentioned here in the article, that the stock price came no multiples. Actually, the stock price equals to what the company is worth with the physical assets. Okay, so that's Intel. Excuse me for sneezing. Teva Pharmaceutical. Sometimes we talk about the stock. It's been holding nicely. It's been having a strong week. And we closed at 1740, building up nicely here. And if you remember, we spoke about the potential of $19, $20, the targets that was set up a while ago. So it looks like it's holding. This is the monthly chart. After the strong month of May, June, July, August, we're actually keeping up very nicely. So let's see how the stocks will do, how indices will do. We'll move to commodities. And we start with gold. As we said, gold had initial sell-off on Monday, but then recovered nicely. And we're back to this resistance here, and that's the resistance of April. The first move to exactly this level was in April. That's when we made, I think there was all-time high on April, the first one made recently. And the level here on, this is back to daily chart, the level here is 24.31.47. And we closed at 24.31, a little bit lower. So as of now, it looks like this level here is the resistance, and gold is trying hard to move higher. We're in a strong uptrend anyway, with a few corrections. And as we said in the numbers earlier, that Monday the sell-off was 1.3%, and it went up almost flat on the week. And the gold is still up on the year, 17.7%. So that's on gold. Copper, based on what we saw on Chinese index, doesn't really have a lot of reasons to run. It did try on Friday though, with this spike. Let's see what hourly chart. We did break above with Chinese session going up, and then we sold again. So again, we are closed below the 398.91. As you could see here, there was some accumulation here back in March, and then we had a huge move to the upside, and then slowly it took us more time to come down to that level. right? Let's take a look. We came from here from end of March, peaked in May, so 2 months we went higher, and about 3 months it took us to come back. So let's see if this is the key level, if this level is significant for copper. It could be that we start building up things here. Again, we'll be watching what China is doing and in general what the global economy is doing as well. As of now, copper has a strong downtrend. Oil and natural gas. Now, oil had a nice move to the upside after showing a lot of weakness here. We had a very strong 3 days. We moved from Wednesday to Friday from 72.5 to 77. That's about $4.50. Nice move to the upside. By the way, just running a little bit up front, also caused or added strength to Canadian dollar as well. We'll take a look when we get to Forex. So oil, nice move to the upside. It looks like the previous support was holding nicely. That's from the beginning of June, the low of 72.46. We had a few tails here, but we ended up moving higher from this level. As you could see, similar situation happened here in February, where the move to the upside. Then we had June, 4 months later, nice move to the upside, even though we made a lower high here. So what we can do, we could probably draw something like this for now. So you could see we are making a lower highs, but we're still holding in a way that 72.5 level as a support, it's still holding. So let's see what this week brings to to crude oil. Natural gas also had a nice bounce from a strong level of support, as we mentioned here, 191. The previous week we retested the level, and this past week we had a nice move to the upside. Every day was a green day, even though the market was selling. Let's see if this recent move will be a beginning of a nice recovery, or maybe just a profit taking from the sell-off, and we might continue lower. So we'll be watching natural gas. Cocoa had a nice move this week. We started from the support of around 74.50, 7,500. We moved straight up on Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday. We tried to sell, recover a little bit, and Friday we made a high for the week, and we came to around 9,000. So the high was 92.23, and we closed about 100 points lower, 91.02. And we did break through that trend line connecting the previous tops. So it could be potentially that we move high here and try to see where's the next resistance, or maybe the sellers will come. It's very hard to judge here, as this instrument is driven by fundamentals mostly, as we said, especially for new people, just to bring it up. The cocoa has been having a huge party here, as there's a big shortage in West Africa with the cocoa production and harvest. So that's cocoa here. Wheat, corn, and soybeans are continuing to be weak. Corn and soybeans continue selling here for the whole week. We continue to the downside on corn. Soybeans even weaker. We broke the previous support here at 1,007. Wheat, it looks like it's the strongest out of three. It's holding after holding this around 519. We tried to move higher. We closed at 541. But these two, corn and especially soybeans, are continuing to be weak. So we'll continue watching. At some point, we're still in the air here, so it's hard to say when we'll find some support. But when we do, we definitely might see some traders coming in on the buy side. So soybeans, corn, and wheat are continuing to be weak. Okay, let's move to Forex. currencies, and we start with dollar index. Dollar index is playing with this 102 level. You could see here on the weekly chart, we almost had a flat week. Daily chart, you can see clearly here we bounce off the previous support, 102.34, even though we had a tail here, a brief tail below 102, and then we recovered here. So dollar index has pressure. No wonder, of course, no surprise, as the Feds are preparing for those rate cuts in upcoming meeting, as we showed on the slide, that there's a 50-50 possibility. It's not between cutting or not cutting. Now it's between cutting 25 or 50 basis points. So that created weakness in the dollar, obviously. So let's run through majors really quick. Euro dollar is holding this 109. Pound doesn't look so strong. We are, as I mentioned before, when I said that the UK index, the FTSE, looks strong. Partially, it's to the weakness of the pound recently. Take a look. We were about a month ago. We were at 130.43, and we're at 127. We've lost about 300 pips here, and we're back into our channel that we mentioned for a while. 126 and 128. We're right in between. So pound is looking weaker than euro against the dollar. I'm going to leave yen till the end. So USD CAD, as you could see, with the move of the dollar lower, or US dollar lower, and the move of oil higher, you could see there was a significant drop in USD CAD. And by the way, all other CAD pairs, you could see here, some of them, USD CAD lost the value against the Canadian dollar, GBP as well, as the oil gained some strength. Now, New Zealand and Australian dollar are showing a little bit strength here. Let's take a look against the dollar here. They've been super weak with China. You could see this. There was some huge spikes to the downside, and there was a nice recovery towards the end of last week. This is the Australian dollar and New Zealand as well, as they were really beaten up hard, and slowly they're showing some signs of recovery. So here on New Zealand dollar, we came to a serious level here around 160. And on Australian dollar, we are fighting that 200 moving average here after recovery. Now, Swiss franc, a dollar sold against the Swiss franc, as we mentioned last week, that Japanese yen, Swiss franc, and gold, it's a classic model for the safe haven when the markets are selling. The money is flowing into those instruments. So as you could see, dollar got super weak against the Swiss franc, and then towards the end of the week, a little bit of recovery here. And yen, the most important. Take a quick look. Since July 11th, for about a month, we came from 160, 169 to current 146.50. Huge move. It was caused first by the intervention, and then the increase in interest rates. And something that we've been talking for months finally happened. We had a huge move in Japanese yen, and it had to move against all other currencies: Swiss franc, Australian, Canadian dollar, euro, and GBP. The question is, let's go back to dollar yen. The question is, what's next? Here on the daily chart, it looks like a huge move, right? But as you start zooming out, it actually shows that it could have a potential to continue here. We did break below this. This is the weekly chart, below the March level, and we're trying to climb back but having a hard time. And if you take a look at the monthly chart, you could see here we did break the trend line. It was a strong sell-off or on a dollar yen in this case, or gain of yen in July, and August will continue. So if this trend continues, there has a potential to go much lower here, especially in this pair with the dollar yen. If we have the aggressive cut by the Fed, we might see a further slide in dollar yen. Okay, so we'll continue watching the yen pairs, of course, and see how this week plays. Now, few words on cryptos. We had a huge sell-off here, as we mentioned before. Here on the 5th, there was a huge drop in Bitcoin. We reached a level briefly below 50. We were down as much as 8%. Ended up the week down only 4.8%. There was a nice recovery here on the 8th. As of now, since that recovery, we trading around 61,000. This is the live market now. And a similar situation is in Ethereum. It sold, all the hopes of the ETFs kind of disappeared. There's a huge sell-off on Ethereum. By the way, here you could see something that's worth paying attention, something they called dead cross, when the 50-day moving average crossing below 200. Some analysts are considering it as a sell signal, the opposite of what happened here back in November of last year. Golden cross when the 50-day moving average moving above the 200. So this could be something significant as well. In any event, we did have a nice recovery towards the end of the week, and today we'll try to move higher. If we do move higher on Ethereum, this level here around 28.50, 28.60 would be probably a resistance, as we had a support for a while. Let's see how we play with this level here, 28.60, if we get there. Okay, so just to summarize, what we spoke about, we had a very intense week. We had volatility through the roof, reaching the level of pandemic, a sell-off on the market of 2020. We had some recovery towards the end of the week. The major indices are still nicely up on the year. Gold is up on the year. They're trying to convince investors not to panic. I guess we'll find out soon who's right. We have a dollar reacting to the downside in light of the upcoming interest rate decision next month. We have some data coming in, including CPI, PPI numbers, and consumer confidence from US, which is very, very important, especially the CPI data. So it could be another volatile week. And let's see if there was a short panic followed by a recovery, or it could be a beginning of the sell-off. Also, as I mentioned, towards the end of this month, on 28, NVIDIA will be reporting the earnings. So that's something that we'll wait for. And it's going to be an exciting week. And I'm very happy because usually August is a quiet month. And as you see now, it's not quiet at all. It's actually the opposite. So enjoy the weekend, get some energy, prepare yourself for the week. Please don't forget to subscribe and like, especially the YouTube, share, subscribe. Have an amazing week. All the best. See you next Sunday.